What is up, though, Lions fans? It is your boy Chef, and we are back. You already know what time it is. It is time for episode number 31 of the YAK pod. Now, we don't need any introduction for this episode because you already know what we're going to talk about. How could we talk about anything else but free agency? Before we get started, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. It also helps me out when you share. Helps me get the algorithm on my side. As always, let's get right to it. Now, today is the day of free agency. At least that's the way it seems. It seems like today is the only day to make a move. Now, I know we didn't make splash moves. We didn't make a ton of moves, but at some point today, there was a tweet that went out, hopefully talking us Lions fans off of the edge, which reminded us that of all the 4 teams that were playing for the Super Bowl, the NFC and AFC championship teams and the 2 Super Bowl teams had not made a free agent move. While everyone else was running around spending money, Christian Wilkins gets $27 million per year. Danico Autry got money. What is his name? Who else did we want? Dorrance Armstrong. He got money. Everybody's getting money. Everybody's changing teams. Everyone is a signing frenzy. The Bears sign people. The Packers sign people. The Vikings sign people. Remember last year when the Bears went out and spent all that money? They wouldn't spend all that money on TJ Edwards, on Tremaine Edmonds. They just went on a free agent spending spree. I think they spent like $100 million or something in the first day. How'd that turn out? How did that turn out? I mean, you let me know. Last time I checked, the Lions were in the NFC Championship game, and we let them off the hook. We had them right where we wanted them, and we let them off the hook. Now, Brad Holmes has told us that he doesn't want to make big splashes or big splashy signings or go after big fish, depending on what you believe a big fish is. What is your definition of a big fish? Well, a guy that is on the defensive line and makes $27 million per year, I think that's a pretty big fish. We were rumored to be in contention with the Texans and who else for Christian Wilkins. And where did Christian Wilkins go? Where did he go? He went to the Raiders. The Raiders weren't even like those teams that were mentioned. It was the Lions, the Texans, and who was the third team? I can't remember the third team, but it was another team that was mentioned in that situation, and he went right on to the Raiders. So there's a lot of stuff that we don't know that's happening behind the scenes, stuff that's being reported and stuff that's not being reported. As we said, all the insiders were talking about the Lions, the Texans, somebody else. I just can't for the life of me remember the other team right now. But Brad Holmes told you, as I told you, he gave us the secret sauce, but he didn't tell us how to apply the secret sauce necessarily. So what he has told us is that it's risky to go out and sign these big name free agents and spend all of this money on external guys because you don't know the players. You don't know the players. They've done their due diligence on these players, yes, for sure. They've talked to character witnesses. They've talked to coaches. They've talked to front office executives about the guys that they're trying to go and get. or the guys that they may be interested in going to get. So they have an idea of who these people are. But if you're not comfortable with these people, you're not making the move. Brad Holmes is not going to make the move. One thing I will say that I do not like personally is the injured players. We had Emmanuel Mosley last year, and everyone was excited about that because everyone knew what kind of player he was before he got injured, only for him to come in and play 3 snaps and get injured again. It was like the Aaron Rodgers deal, right? Aaron Rodgers goes in a few snaps, he tears his Achilles, he's out for the season. There was a similar situation with Emmanuel Mosley. Well, now he's back, and I understand that he's having a better rehab this time around. If you remember last time, he had a lot of setbacks. I think he had like an infection that he was dealing with. They had to go in and clean up, do a cleanup surgery inside of his knee. So none of that has happened this year. So let's hope that he's able to stay healthy. We got Carlton Davis. Carlton Davis is a good cornerback. Everyone that wants to sit up there and compare his stats to Jerry Jacobs, it doesn't make any sense. Jerry Jacobs and Carlton Davis were not covering the same type of receiver. Jerry Jacobs was the number 3 cornerback who was forced into the number 2 spot. Carlton Davis is the number 1 quarterback. Carlton Davis is a guy that goes against Jamar Chase. Now, Jamar Chase said that he was the toughest defensive back that he's played against in his career in the NFL. Let that sink in. Jamar Chase said that Carlton Davis gave him the most problems. Now, my only issue with Carlton Davis is his missed games. He's missed a lot of games. He has issues staying healthy. So that's always going to be my issue. But I have coined a phrase today. I have been saying, I hope he has a DeAndre Swift healthy out of nowhere or healthy all of a sudden type of season. I hope that's what happens with Carlton Davis. I hope that's what happens with Marcus Davenport. Now, Marcus Davenport is a completely other issue. His health issues are like crazy. Like he had, I think in the 2022 offseason, he had 5 surgeries, 3 of them on his shoulder, and the other 2 on his hand or something like that. So I don't know what's going on with that. He's a big behemoth of a man. He's 6'6", 250 plus pounds. So he is a big dude. You know, he was drafted number 14 overall, I believe by the Saints, right? But he never panned out as far as being able to stay healthy. I would say he is above average when healthy. He had a 9-sack season, I believe, in 2021, but his problem has been staying on the field. I don't think that he has played more than 14 games more than once since 2018 when he was drafted. So it's an issue. You know, I think last season he had like a broken finger or something. It's just always something with the guy, but hopefully putting him in a rotation and having him as a rotational piece, so he's splitting snaps with other people, he's coming in special packages and things of this nature. Hopefully that will help us extend his career and extend his season and his abilities to play. Last year I think he played 4 games and he had 2 sacks. I mean, that's a sack every other game. I'll take a rotational piece guy giving me a sack every other game. I'll take that. So, you know, in a 17-game season, he's going to get what? 9 sacks? 8 sacks? Okay. Opposite Aiden Hutchinson, if you can give me a guy who's a rotational piece that gives you 8 sacks, you know, we don't know how many, James Houston is going to give us. Hopefully he returns to form, from that broken leg, obviously, or broken ankle. So obviously he played in the NFC Championship game, didn't have a big impact, but also wasn't out there for a huge number of snaps. So, obviously his workload is going to ramp up. So hopefully he gets back to his rookie, production, rookie type season. So over there, you've got double-digit sacks, right? You've got in the teens. You've got 18, 19 sacks from those two guys. If, again, as I said, if the production holds up the way that it did before, and from Hutch, you're going to get maybe 13 sacks this year. So, they're not done. The Lions are not done. Brad Holmes is not done. We are rumored to be, well, not rumored to be, we are talking to DJ Reader currently. Again, Reader is a guy that has injury concerns. He's coming off a torn quad muscle, and this is his second. So he's now torn the quad muscles on both legs, left and right. So things of that nature, I'm just, those types of things don't go over well with me. So as far as just these, someone called them penny stocks, the penny stock strategy, pennies on the dollar. You get a guy who's low risk, high reward. As far as Carlton Davis, was it a low? I mean, it was kind of a mid-tier risk as far as what we gave up, but we gave up our third round pick. We still have the Vikings third round pick, and we know that the Vikings didn't make the playoffs, so their third round pick is going to be obviously much higher than a team that went to the NFC Championship game. So we gave up the NFC Championship third round pick for Carlton Davis, and we're getting back 2 6th rounds. And we know, Brad Holmes can find people in the 6th round. Malcolm Rodriguez was drafted in the 6th round. James Houston was drafted in the 6th round. So we know that 6th round picks are not nothing to a GM like Brad Holmes. Also, we can use those 6th round picks in a package deal to move up maybe in the 4th round or something of that nature. So it all depends on how things work out. But again, they're not finished. We are not finished with this defensive line. Hopefully, Danielle Hunter is still out there. I'm so happy he did not go to the Bears, because I really don't want to see Danielle Hunter on one side and Montez Sweat on the other side. That would be a nightmare. Obviously, the Vikings got 2 pass rushers themselves with Andrew Van Ginkel and Jonathan Grenard. So they lost their quarterback, though. So it's still looking like the Vikings are probably going to be last in the division. The Packers, they did get Xavier McKinney. They also got Josh Jacobs. It's funny that the Packers thought that they had the best running back duo in the North, and then a few minutes later, Aaron Jones was released. So I mean, that's what else are we looking for? What else are we looking for here? Brad Holmes is going to be a conservative shopper, and I can't really disagree, because it happens every year. And then we as fans, we freak out every year. But every year that Brad Holmes has been here, the team has just kept doing this. It's just kept going upwards. The Bears are in a situation where we don't know what they're gonna do with their quarterback. Obviously, it's still early. The league year just started, so they could still move Justin Fields somewhere. Pittsburgh was rumored to be one of the places, but now Pittsburgh has Russ. And Russ still has the Denver Broncos over the barrel, as they're paying $38 million of his salary, as Russ decided to take a very team-friendly deal with the Steelers. And I think that was completely on purpose. One, it's a win-win situation for Russ because he gets to stick it to the Broncos. They have to pay him to not play for them, and he also gets to, get weapons. I mean, he's already got George Pickens. The other receiver, I think his name Deontay Johnson, he is on the trade block. So, whatever happens with the Steelers, they have a situation where they're in good shape with them not having to eat Russ's salary. But so Justin Fields, I don't know where he's going to go. Obviously, Atlanta was a place of interest. Obviously, he's from Atlanta, but Atlanta went out and they threw yet another bag at Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is my hero. Any of you young fans out there, you can hate on Kirk Cousins all you want, but Kirk Cousins gets his money. He gets it. He gets it like probably no other quarterback that I've seen in recent memory. Just the way that he's been able to finagle things. He got, I think, 2 franchise tags by the Commanders, who were the Redskins at the time. And he went over to the Vikings and signed fully guaranteed deals. He's just getting money, man. He's just getting money. I would love to sit down with Kirk Cousins and his agent and just be like, how? Tell me, show me, and teach me your ways. How are you getting money at such an alarming rate for a quarterback that people think is mid and he's not great and things of that nature? And they may have a point. However, he's getting money, and he got a fresh new grill, which was gifted to him by Justin Jefferson. He didn't even have to pay for it. So that dude is about money. He's about his business. So, hey, you got to take your hat off to Kirk Cousins. But again, back to the Lions. I mean, we still have room to improve. We still have room to do things. The secondary is something that Brad Holmes has said that he wanted to address this offseason. So he's obviously not done addressing that. We've still got the draft. Free agency is not over. People believe that it's over, but it's not over after the first day. There are still people left to be signed. After the free agent frenzy is over, then we'll start seeing deals that are, I don't want to say team friendly, but the deals that just make economical sense. People are trying to fill out their rosters in a way that's not going to break the bank, and you still have to look at the salaries that you have to do next year. You've got Panay coming up. You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown coming up. You've got Jared Goff coming up. So there's a lot of maneuvering with the cap that has to be done for you to be able to fit everyone under the cap. I know that the NFL salary cap is not actually real. It's not real. I'm just going to say that it's not real because there's so many things that can be done with NFL salaries. I mean, you can, like what they did with Deshaun Watson. They paid the guy nothing in his first year because of the suspension and the fines or whatever he was going to pay. So they paid him nothing. They paid him $1 million. He's got a $240 million contract or whatever it is. So, They pretty much paid him nothing. They can take a deal and they can restructure it and they can give you, $60 million as a signing bonus. So there's a lot of things that they can do to move things around. The only, I guess, deterrent about doing things like that is the dead cap number. But again, teams have been finagling this stuff for many, many years. And as the money just gets more and more and more, I mean, we could see, Robert Hunt got a 5-year, $100 million contract for a guard. Hunter Dickinson, he got the bag. So there's a lot of people out here getting a lot of money, but generally the teams that make the splashiest signings in free agency aren't necessarily the teams that you're talking about in December and January, and obviously February. The Chiefs obviously hung on to Chris Jones. He got a massive deal. I think it was $32 million per, which eclipses Aaron Donald's $31.8 million per. So I mean, we're going to be looking to do the same types of stuff next year with Goff and Panay and Amon-Ra. I've heard rumors that it could already be done. They just haven't announced it yet. But I'm not worried. I don't think y'all should be worried. Y'all should just calm down, man. Y'all should just calm down. We are not the Bears. We're not the Vikings. We're not the Packers. All of those teams were chasing us last season, and they're chasing us this season. So until they prove that their method is going to work better than ours, currently in this current regime with Brad Holmes now, for many, many, many years, their methods were working better than ours because we had people doing stuff that didn't have any idea what they're doing. Shout out Jeff Okudah signing a 1-year deal with the Texans. I cannot escape that man. I cannot escape that man, and there is optimism and excitement about him on Twitter from the Houston Texans fans. Man, look, do what you feel, okay? Do what you feel. I'm not going to try to change your mind. I'm just not going to do it. You do what you feel, and you let me know how that works out. I won't be watching. All I know, every time I turned on a Falcons game last season, I didn't see him. I didn't see him nowhere on the field. I'm like, where's Jeff Okudah at? On the bench. Come on now, bro. So listen, I just had to throw that out there because it's free agency, man. And listen, I don't want to go into it. I've had enough. Jeff Okudah, just go away, okay? Just go away. This stuff about Jeff Okudah needs to stop coming across my timeline. People need to stop making comments and chats. Just go away, Jeff. That's all I need from you to do. As I said, you'll probably be a great dude off the field. Awesome. That makes you Will Harris. Is that what you want to be in life? You want to be Will Harris? No disrespect to Will Harris, because he's in the NFL and I am not. And, most of us fans probably wanted to be in the NFL at some point in our lives. But these guys have made it. And I'm not really throwing shade at them as far as making it, but as far as being in the NFL and on the level of the other players, not up to par. Not up to par. Shout out DeAndre Swift returning to the NFL, the NFC North. I don't know why you did that, but you asked for it. You asked for it. And ain't too many players on that team on that defense for sure that you played with. It ain't gonna be nothing nice. You ain't getting no tributes. Definitely, you come back to Detroit, you are public enemy number 1, buddy. So, I think you probably wanted to stick it to the Detroit Lions, and I don't know why, because you just weren't going to stay healthy here, and we had to move off of you. We didn't like your lack of dogness. If you got a boo-boo, you were sitting out. So, things of that nature. It is what it is, man. But, you in Chicago, and we got the better back. David Montgomery is better than you. Jahmyr Gibbs is better than you. It is what it is, bro. I mean, I can't say he can't play in the cold because he played in Philly. He played in Philly last season. He's from Philly, so he's a cold weather type of guy. We discovered him in Georgia, so, not everybody knows he's from Philly, but he's from Philly. Now he's in Chicago. It is what it is, man. I'm not worried about DeAndre Swift. Are we going to have to game plan against DeAndre Swift? Or are we just going to smack them in the mouth? Just going to smack them in the mouth? Just smack them in the mouth. We don't care about Josh Jacobs. You care about Josh Jacobs? What did Josh Jacobs do against us when we played the Raiders last season? What did he do? He didn't do much. Look, our defensive line, I believe, is only going to get better through this offseason. I believe that Brad Holmes is going to address it. Just not going to happen today, man. It's and if it happens in the middle of the night, I'll be, if it's DJ Reader and he, we're talking to him. So if he signs a deal, I'm cool with it. If he doesn't, I'm cool with it. It is what it is. But, that's it for today. As always, smash the like button, subscribe, be the type of friend that tells another friend, let them know what's going on in the kitchen. I might have some things steaming, cooking back here. You already know what it is, man. So you never know what you're gonna get, but you're always gonna get something. You're always gonna get something nice. It's gonna be an experience, man, because I'm sitting up here as a chef. I'm talking about football, man. I'm not talking about food. I'm not talking about beignets and etouffees. I'm not talking about pies and cakes. I'm talking about football. We cooking this football up in here. All right. So, as always, I will see you later. Peace.